Hi, welcome. Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to replace battery for the iPhone 10. And just want to show you the phone. And the first thing you need to have is to get yourself a Pentalobe P2 screwdriver, which is the 0.8. Remove the two screws at the bottom here. If you're not sure where to buy the tools from, or maybe the replacement battery from, what I'll do is I'll link them in the description below. You can get them through Amazon or eBay, and I usually get my stuff through Amazon, but you can also get them from eBay just in case if the battery does not ship it to your location, because it's a lithium ion battery. Lithium ion battery might not able to go on an airplane to ship. I'm not 100% sure, but that might be the case. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm using a metal prying tool. I stick right about this much, not all the way in, just about this much, in order to cut the adhesive. So the phone is water resistant, meaning that they have this adhesive seal that seal the entire phone all around it. So in order for you to get to the phone, you need to cut that adhesive. All right. Once you have the adhesive all being cut up, you can open the phone and flip it to your right. The next step I like to do is to get yourself a Try screwdriver or the Y screwdriver. Remove all the screws here. The screws are not all the same, so make sure you do not mix match the screw and have them in a position where you will remember how to put them back together. Once you have removed all the 5 screws, now you can remove the metal bracket. Once the metal bracket is removed, the next thing you like to do is disconnect this cable right here, which is the battery cable. They are just like Lego, they snap onto it. To remove, you just simply lift it straight up. Once the battery is disconnected, now you can go ahead and disconnect the LCD screen and the screen digitizer. Here is your front proximity sensor that comes with the ear speaker. You can disconnect that cable. Now be very careful and gentle because the proximity sensor are still held down by the double-sided tape. So as you can see, I'm pulling the double-sided tape away from this flex cable. So there is a double-sided tape here that tape down to the phone. So be very careful when you peel it off and do not break it. All right, so we pretty much have done the important part. Now here comes the difficult part. The difficult part is you can see that there are 3, 1, 2, and 3, what we call the double-sided tape that Apple taped onto the phone, to the battery. Okay, so this tape is very difficult to remove. I want you to not try to break anything or poke anything. You try not to poke the battery, or try not to poke the battery. At the same time, try not to break the double-sided tape right here. Okay, we try to remove it, and it's very difficult to do that. So take your time, and I'll do mine. So you need to have a good, well, I would say a good grip to grip onto the adhesive tape, then you can start pulling it apart. So far, I'm not having a good success with it. It is very tiny room I can play with, and it's very difficult to remove. This might be a very long video. I didn't even get to that one tape yet. And it's breaking every time I get to it. I try to turn it and it breaks. I try to turn it and it breaks. So having some difficult time here. Trying not to poke the battery too, because if you poke the battery, you might damage the battery, causing hazardous fire. Keep breaking every time I get a chance to hold the the white tape, and it just snap off and break. So as you can see, I'm struggling. It is not an easy job. I can tell you that now. And I'm working on the easiest part. The top part is easier to do versus the bottom, because you have more room to dig underneath to get to the battery, versus the bottom part, which is a lot more less room for you to play with. Okay, I got most of it out for the front. I mean the top. And let's work on the bottom part here. I guess I have no other choice but to gently pry it open. It looks like the prying part works better for me. But at the same time, I'm afraid to poke the battery. And just try not to poke the battery or any damage to the battery. Because that way it would cause... I mean, like, it happened to me once that the battery catches fire, it smoke, and then it goes on fire. So, because of the battery. And I just do not understand why they want to make it so difficult for the replacement. And wish everybody knows that the battery does not last forever. And over time, the battery would just, weak and doesn't hold much of a charge. And Apple just make things more difficult for replacement. And you'll be a waste to see the phone get thrown away versus you can just change the battery and continue using the phone. So, and of course, over time, it is so difficult to change because the adhesive get all dried up. And when the adhesive is all dry, it's very brittle. So it's easier to break. It doesn't have the strength to pull and separate them apart. So yeah. So far you're just hearing my complaint, and I'm actually not doing a good video right here, just helping you guys out. All right, finally, and I did make a puncture on the battery, if you can see that. So thank God nothing happens to not really break through the battery and cause fire. But as you can see, it is not an easy job to remove the battery. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do next is to replace the battery, and this is the replacement battery that I got. And here is the double-sided tape. I am going to remove them because I do not want the crazy sticky stuff on the battery, because I don't see a point to stick it so much on the battery and have difficult time to remove it after. The top part I'll leave it as is, but the bottom part I remove them. So what I'll do is I'll use the this double-sided tape. This is the iPad screen repair double-sided tape to tape onto the iPad. So I'll be using this one instead. And I feel like this is much easier to remove, and it still does the same job to hold on to stick the battery on. Okay. All right, I have the battery installed. I can remove this plastic cover, clean up the table a little bit. Okay. At the same time, I'm just going to change out the screen real quick because the screen is broken on my original ones, right? And I'll just change the screen same time, so I save one process to do so. But if you just do the battery replacement, you can fast forward, or maybe just fast forward on this step. What I'm doing right now is I'm transferring the proximity sensor. This is the proximity sensor coming from the screen. I'll be transferring over to this screen here. Okay, that is the bracket that holds on to that. And make sure you peel the plastic cover. Have them align in a position. And now you can put the 3 screws back together. All right, once you have done with that part, now what we can do is to reinstall them back together. So assuming that you skip that process, you're just going to come back here and finish this part. Make sure all the cables going back to the same area. Okay, let's push it in. They are just like Lego. Once you align them in the right position, and you can simply by pressing it down and it would go back in. Okay, do not forget to make sure the bracket is going back in on the top of all the cables, and we're going to put the final screws back. Once you have all the 5 screws together, there's one tiny screw. There's one, well, not tiny, the big screw is hidden underneath here, so make sure you do not forget that screw. And once you have everything in, you want to make sure you align to the top. And once you have that in the right position, you can press it down and crunch it. Pretty much it. Do not forget to put the 2 of the screw here at the bottom. Make sure you install them back all together. And there you have it. So I just replaced the battery. At the same time, I take the opportunity to replace the screen. And this is for iPhone 10. So as you can see, I was struggling to change the battery. Like I said, the adhesive make things more difficult. All right, so I hope that the video is helpful. And if you find it's helpful, please click the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks now. Bye.